Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely day in Wareham here as usual. Got an awesome guest for you tonight, and get to him. He's a multifaceted individual with a lot of qualifications, and some of his work he's brought with him, and we'll talk all about that and cover it. But before we do, we've got to read these awesome underwriters real quick, and then we will go to the guest as usual. So we got Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights. We got Barnacle Monuments in Middleborough. We got Carver Jewelers in Carver, Ronald Island, Liley, Delano Goldsmiths. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got Shiny Auto Body and Repair in Lakeville. We got Main Ingredient, Just Good Food in Middleborough. We got South Shore Trains and more in Pembroke. We got Crazy Axes Recreation Center in Hanover. We got Middleborough Barbering Company in Middleborough. We got Battistini's Bakery in Middleborough. We got New England Floorscapes Incorporated in Middleborough. We got Manny's Auto Repair in Taunton. We got DNS Auto Works in Abington on Route 58. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough, and we got Richie's Auto Care in Hanover. I want to thank you guys very much. And then on that note, I will introduce this young man here. He's actually older than I am, I found out. This is Stephen DeNuccio. He's an actor, he's a comedian, he's a musician, he's an artist. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you still got more to go, but that's okay.
I got more to go. Okay, well, this is what these are the little tidbits of knowledge of you that I found in my research. So, what I do with all my guests is I try to talk to them, and they'll let me know as we go along. And like with detective piecing together puzzles, a puzzle, we make it happen together, and that's what we are right now. So, I mentioned all those things. Tell me about what you were like as a kid, where you grew up.
Oh, God.
I think you're from the biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island. I know you're a friend of that guest we had last year, Stephen Jason. He was an actor, and he had a great story about when he fell on his head and made him smarter. Mm-hmm. And I have a hunch you probably have a lot of great stories like that. So,
oh, my God, yeah.
So let's start at the beginning. Talk about, what you were like as a kid, and let's roll forward.
Well, that's an easy thing. When I was a child, born in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
And on July 3rd, I was actually supposed to be born August 14th.
You were a preemie then?
I was a preemie. I weighed in at 4 pounds.
You're a big dude. It's hard to believe. Most of them go small.
Yeah, well, with me, they put me in that little glass incubator waiting for the princess to kiss me. That would be considered an unsolicited kiss by Disney, but that's okay. But I had to wait about a couple of weeks to come home. And, going through some ear operations and everything, got through all of that. Wow. And because of the preemie thing. And it worked out good, and then I grew up. I'm an only child.
Look at you.
And yeah, I was spoiled, I guess. And my mother was an artist as well, a commercial artist for the outlet company at the time.
Which company?
Outlet company.
What's that?
Actually, it was a department store downtown Providence. Actually, at one point in time, she used to write Ted Knight's check when he used to work as a weatherman in Providence, Rhode Island.
Ted Knight. Wait a minute. You talk. I'm thinking of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah, that's the guy. The guy there used to be, and used to be a weatherman, I believe, in
WJR maybe. Okay, Channel Ted.
So she would write his
check. Is his name Ted Knight also, just like on Mary Tyler Moore?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I'm thinking. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. Ted Knight was a character on this Mary Tyler Moore
show. Right,
but
I'm trying to think of his other name.
Right, okay.
He used to be a weatherman.
Okay, but I don't know if his name was Ted Knight. We don't even get the Providence stations anymore because of the digital cable setup. It's changed. But okay, but she wrote the check for the weatherman.
Yeah, she wrote a lot of checks. A matter of fact.
Did she work for this? Oh, okay. Was it part of a sponsor thing?
Yeah, and she would draw pictures, and as a 5-year-old boy, she would teach me how to draw. This is where the talents come from.
You've got the talent. Okay.
So I at 5 years old started playing the accordion.
Okay.
And my father said to me, he said, I don't want a half-assed musician, he says, so you're going to learn the accordion, and then you're going to learn something else and do something else. He said, I want you a well-rounded musician, because he was a drummer, a jazz drummer.
Cool.
And I became a jazz accordionist, and that didn't work so well, but I did jazz piano worked out better.
Okay.
So and then I went into singing. We had a band.
So you took piano lessons then, right?
No, I taught myself piano. I took accordion lessons for 27 years. It's basically the same thing.
I know.
The only thing is the difference, the 120 bass buttons on the left-hand side.
That's right.
So now I have to convert each one of those buttons consisted of 3 or 4 notes to my left hand. So that took a little while looking at a keyboard this way than this way.
Okay.
And, so it was a lot of fun. Taught myself that. And we had a jazz band. We used to be one of the house bands.
You and your father did?
What's that?
You and your father were in a jazz?
No, my father played separately. I had my own.
Oh, you had your own jazz band. Well, tell me about
I would fill in
Well, who was in the jazz band? Kids in your
We
neighborhood?
had an older gentleman, his name was Rocco, and he
Okay.
played a stand-up bass. I had a saxophone player, and I filled in with a lot of bands too. But
Okay.
we were one of the house bands at the Venus de Milo at the time, and guess who was working there? Emeril Lagasse. He
Oh, my
used to
goodness.
come out and say, "Try this, guys. Try this, guys." You know, he would feed the bands, and so we kind of learned, you know.
Well, it couldn't have been that long ago because Emeril Lagasse's my age, and I had my very first Topic Time guest got on his show and ended up getting, becoming a movie star. Frankie and Bergamo.
Oh, yeah.
From I don't know if you know him, do you?
No, not per.
Okay, so I'm guessing I guess the timeline for this stuff with Emeril wasn't that long ago. Probably within the past 15 years, right?
I think a little, slightly longer than that.
Oh,
just
really?
slightly
Okay, 20
longer.
years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was great. I mean, he got his start at the Venus de Milo.
Oh,
So
he
that's
did?
what I'm trying to say.
What,
He
cooking
wasn't,
there?
and so it's a little bit longer than the 20 years.
Okay.
But he was a younger guy
Right.
at the Venus de Milo working. He talks about that.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. So you part of a jazz band that formed at the Venus de Milo, and then you took it to the next level. You became a comedian and rapper, and
Well,
and then you worked for Disney. So tell me about how that came to be.
it all happens by accident,
No,
right?
it doesn't. Everything happens for a reason. I
Well,
always
you're
say
right
that.
too, but you just put yourself out there and the accidents happen, and then before you know it, you're
Okay, you
working.
can call them accidents if you want. To me,
Yeah.
an accident is when you lose control of your.
Well, Well, the accident that happened in my life happened at 11 years old. That's a near-death experience. So
Oh,
that's
really?
a
I've had a
whole
few of
nother
those,
show
too.
we'll have to talk
Right,
about
okay.
that. We're gonna leave that out of the show.
Okay, that's fine.
But it just so happened to be that I loved drawing. I did it in high school. I went to RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. My
Oh,
mother
cool.
did, and I learned. I was trained, and the next thing you know, I was playing because now DJs came into the business. DJs sucked a lot of the oxygen out of the room.
Okay.
Rhode Island, you're not playing for weddings anymore. So now I'm a jazz pianist. I'm playing cocktail
Right,
hours.
because DJs they spin discs and you play real music, and
Yeah.
and it probably costs less money to have a DJ spin discs than to hire a band. to
Well,
play.
actually, no. Today it's $2,000 to get a DJ
Oh,
for
it
a
is?
wedding, and it's $500 if I play a cocktail hour. So no, they're making a little bit more money than I do.
Oh, really? Okay.
But what's good about it, as a pianist, I said I have to survive in this aquarium full of sharks. The
Okay.
sharks being the DJ, and if the pilot fish is swimming at the belly of the shark, he gets all the debris. Right? That's me.
Okay.
So I would meet up with DJs and say, hey, I do cocktail hours. I know you guys don't like that idea. If you want to, while you're setting up and get ready, I can do the cocktail hour. Great idea. Well, next thing you know, I started filtering in
Cool.
on that way. So there was no more band, but there was me. And then one thing led to another. You're playing on ships, you're playing here, you're playing there. And then next thing you know, people see your artwork, you're drawing on your breaks.
Wow.
And then they said, wow, you draw? I said, yeah. Well, you didn't hire me to draw. I draw on my breaks.
Totally
And then
genius.
one thing led to another, and it fell in the right eyes. And next thing you know, we'd like to have your artwork.
Wow.
And that led into more commissions and everything. But you have to understand, I own a dental lab. So
Well, that's something else entirely. That's great.
that was you say, how do you go to RISD and get into dental? Well, because I'm a ceramist, I do crown and bridge work. It's all done by hand.
It's true. It's an art form.
Well, now it's
You want to see my gold tooth? No, it's too late. I cracked it on the lentil.
Well, don't tell the Undertaker. That'll come out at the wrong time. But
That's
anyway,
right.
now I'm
They'll-
only kidding.
They'll steal it. There goes my will. None of my family will get it. It's the Undertaker who stole my gold crown.
But that was a whole
broke.
nother story
Right, I
too
know. Okay.
about the art. So I incorporated my artwork in with the dental. So how did I do that? I put tooth tattooing. I did pictures on teeth as I was making
Wait
the
a
crown.
minute, really?
That's what I did. So that got found out by the media as well.
The media. It's a wonder they didn't disbar you from the dental world.
No, because you're making a crown and a person. No, it was done by permission only.
Oh, of course.
There was one patient.
You're saying you tattooed people's teeth?
As I make the crown, it's inlaid in the porcelain,
Right.
and it's fired in the porcelain oven.
Okay.
So you're doing the crown, you're making the metal substructure, then you put the opaque on it, then you're building up all this stuff with colored porcelains, which I've developed a lot of the colored porcelains.
Okay.
And then I bury it with a clearer porcelain, so it magnifies the effect. So as I'm drilling all the anatomy for the tooth, and it goes into the mouth, and I've got a few myself, you get to see Mickey Mouse or whatever you're doing for people.
Where do you see it? On the teeth?
Yeah, it's on the molar. It's not on the
Well,
front.
who sees it if it's inside someone's mouth?
It's private tattoo. I think it's always good because in case I should be go into an airline disaster, God forbid. If they find a Mickey tooth, they'll say their dental identification. If you got a Mickey tooth, yes, that's him.
Oh, okay.
He's identified.
So basically, it's just a way of tracing you in case there's a horrific event like that.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
But that little story I just told you, that funny little joke part, in case I get in an airline, I can't mention names, HIPAA laws, but what happened was there was a legal case going on in Rhode Island. They were heading out to jail.
Okay.
And I'm not mentioning names. I got to keep it off that.
Okay.
But I did an Easter lily for this person, and not knowing that this was before the stuff happened. And one day, I forgot about it. It was years later, and the medical examiner, who I knew personally at the time, called me up and said, "Steve, I have to ask you a question." I knew him from the VA, where I got most of my dental training.
Okay.
And he said, "I have to ask you a question. Do you do like pictures on teeth?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "How'd you find that out?" He says, "Well, can you come down here?" I said, "Come down where?" These are medical examiner's office. I want you to identify something. Now, I've seen 27 autopsies, learning the anatomy of head and neck, and it's also good for my artwork.
Okay.
You know, there was an artist that did that once. He liked to see autopsies. And, well, I did that, and I went down there, and I saw it. I says, "Yep, that's my Easter lily." And what happened was she committed suicide, and they were able to identify her. Once I said who it was, they were able to identify. Well, that got to the media.
Okay.
Now I got the media knocking at the door of my dental lab, and all of a sudden now that gets out, and then I've got patients that say, "I want a tooth," not my patients, doctors' patients, "I want a tooth tattoo." And so that led into that aspect.
Wow.
So it branched out there. So that was my dental art career.
Okay.
Then, you know, of course, circling back, I was playing the piano, and I used to like to do a lot of parody songs.
You wrote them yourself, right?
Well, you get a regular song and you add words to it. So I would be playing.
Like Weird Al Yankovic does.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a lot of fun doing that, and people would laugh, and it broke up the moment, right?
Of course.
And you had to have the right people in the lounge to do it.
Right.
That worked well, and so I wanted to break away from sitting behind a piano
Okay.
to doing stand-up. I said, I don't want to take a piano with me on all these gigs. I have an electric piano, a
Right.
big one, heavy one too.
course.
I said, I want to separate, and so I did, because now you can do karaoke music on your phones or
Cool.
your devices,
Yep.
and you don't need to be a piano. So I started to do parody songs in my routine.
And you're going to do one here today, right?
I could do one here today.
Okay, we're going to have you do it in a little while.
Sure.
Well, let's look at some of your artwork and tell me. And then,
Sure.
and while you're talking, while you're showing what you've done, let's talk about how you got into working for Disney. You told me you worked for Disney.
I do it. I just do do a person connection. I do some work for them, as you will see, and
Okay.
they'll sell them in the parks.
And the which?
In the parks.
Oh, the parks.
I know.
thought
I got the accent. I know.
No, you have the parks, but I thought you said the other P word. Okay, fine.
So, for instance, here's a Snoopy.
Yep.
For you, all right, gotta hold it like that. Here's
Yeah, that's
Snoopy
fine.
as
That's
a
Snoopy.
drawing.
Right.
This is sellable. This works out very well.
It does.
But
It's Linus
how
too,
about
isn't
we
it? And
turn
Charlie
this
Brown.
same thing into an animation cell? Now,
Okay.
the animation cell is done on clear acetate without the matting. You could see it's on foam board. It suspends above the background, and it's clear acetate. And again, this is what they look like. That, you know, they're not production cells that were used in a movie. So
Okay.
let's make that clear. These are people, because they don't make movies like that anymore. People want this art. And if you want to see like the Little Mermaid, which I get tons of requests, there's a Little Mermaid with a background
Cool.
of the of pencil background, so it wouldn't take away from the foreground, which
Okay.
is the art sitting above the background.
All right.
So that is some of the artwork I do there. But then again, when I draw the pencil, I put the clear acetate over my original drawing, and I trace what I originally draw. So I'm tracing my own drawing that I created.
Okay.
So I could put it on here, and then on the reverse side of the acetate is where you paint. So on the forward side, you could touch this all day. The paint's underneath.
Oh, cool.
So it's a different
Wow.
process. That's what I learned at RISD. Then, you guys must know these.
What? Get in here. Get out. Get out.
You know, and I get a lot of type of comedic look. I've got Robin Williams performing, and this is the Titanic over here. Oh, actually over here. Oh,
Cool.
I got to go this way. It's kind of strange when you're looking in the mirror up there, huh? But these are things that Sammy Davis. And I get a lot of commissions for famous people. Here's Maud. And
Maud, yeah.
you know that one, the Trump.
Oh, that's
Melania.
oh, Melania. Okay.
And we all remember this soap opera. Not this. We know the Fonz and we know him.
Yeah, I know. Hey.
And
Everybody remembers
then
that. Yep.
we have
Grandpa. Al Lewis.
Grandpa.
Wow.
Milton Berle.
Milton
Gotta
Berle,
go this
yep,
way.
Uncle
Sorry
Milty.
about that, folks.
Cool.
But that's on there. Then of course you go into and I'm just going quickly. The Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of
Very,
Oz.
very, very popular.
Absolutely.
Very popular.
Every
And-
character. You got the witch in there too.
Oh, I got the witch.
Glinda,
You
she
mean
was
our
pretty
governor?
hot.
I mean, oh, I'm sorry. She's in Washington. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's true. Yeah.
Yes, Dorothy and the witch.
There's the witch. Yep.
But the witch also gets in color. So I've got a lot of that. There's the wizard. He played many roles, and there's another
What's
color.
my buttons? Right.
And that's that.
Awesome.
And then finally, of course, unless you want me to stop.
That's awesome. Okay. That's
And this is the Disney stuff.
That's beautiful. Okay, Disney. So this is all. Let's see.
And that's all Disney. The
Oh, Disney.
Mermaid again.
Oh, that's the mermaid.
And there's
Okay, that's
a
one of the.
wooden
I've never
look. There's
seen that
a-
before.
This is called minimalism in art, where you just do a little bit. So
Okay.
you got the idea of what the rest looks like. So now you got a whole feel of the artwork.
Well, guess what? Now that we've seen your great artwork, we're gonna hear a rap song. You're gonna do it
This will
right
be
here.
a quick one. I won't
Yeah.
go through the whole thing.
So I'm gonna sit back and let Stephen perform an original rap. So
Now-
without further ado, Stephen DeNuccio.
For you folks out there, this is how I'm brought up to the stage. So, yeah, the old guy rapping it away.
There you go.
And everybody would be clapping. Now gives me the time to get up on that stage, and it's all about have fun.
Absolutely.
I said a hip hop, hip to the hip hip hop, but don't stop rockin' to the bang bang boogie. I've jumped to the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. Hey, my name is Mr. Steve, and I love to do comedy. You know, I live in a state that can't get it straight, and I want you to listen to me. To the red, to the white, not glorious blue. The politicians here are all screwing you. We have potholes here and potholes there, potholes everywhere. We have bent rims and blown tires, and the politicians just don't care. We have road tolls, highway tolls, and 17 tolls in all. They say it's for the truckers, but it's really for us suckers, and that's what it's all about. Say what? Road tolls and highway tolls and 17 tolls and all. They say it's for the truckers, but it's really for us suckers, and that's what it's all about. Everybody now a hip hop, hip to the hip hop, but don't stop rocking to the bang bang boogie. I've jumped to the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. Now that Superman building, it's vacant downtown, and the politicians here are all flying around. Hasbro's leaving and the Paw Sox leaving. Everything sounded quite crazy, but the politicians focus on saving one business, that business called the Foxy Lady. Now our governor's the witch from the Wizard of Oz. Oh, you know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen, because I could see in the distance the planet Mars. But that's all another thing, folks. You know, here's another thing. We're all stuck in the house watching Miley Cyrus with this thing called coronavirus. The governors are putting us all to gas. We have to wear these friggin' masks, and it goes on and on and on. But this goes on for
that
a
was
long
awesome.
time.
Great job.
It goes on for a while.
That's
And I go
okay.
right into the whole thing on the coronavirus. But we have a lot of fun with the
We
rap.
do
And
have a
that-
lot of fun. Wow, what a.
you know, and then after I usually do that opening, then they introduce me as, you know, a cast member, and we go into a lot of Disney humor.
Cool. That's so cool. Oh, man, you are multifaceted, and we are covering you good today. All right. Well, so where do you do these rap songs at the same? I mean, all right, what locations, what venues?
I've done it at the Comedy Connection.
Okay.
I run an open mic at the Pub on Park. Actually, my friend who got me started up, he's very popular. He actually got Bill Burr started, and he opened for him.
cool. Okay.
John Parada.
I had him on the show.
Yeah, he's really good. So him and I are very
friends?
close.
Awesome.
We run shows together. So we run them at restaurants, at the Whaler, or that's a hotel, and we ran it at the Ying Dynasty or the Comedy. He did the Comedy Connection one time, but right now we're doing the Pub on Park.
These are all Rhode Island locations, right?
a lot of Rhode Island,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, a lot of New England areas,
Yeah,
a
right.
lot of New England areas.
Okay. How about around the country besides New England? Have you
The only
gone?
thing I've ever done was a little bit out of state here and there, you know, but nothing. And I'm not a national comedian, you know.
Okay.
I'm a local guy.
Right, right.
Yeah, but it's good because you're busy,
Yeah,
right?
you're still great at what you do. It doesn't matter. People know who you are.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
after this show, they're going to know everywhere who you are.
And it's a lot of fun. As long as you're doing 3 or 4 shows a week, that's all you need to know. But that all got shut down. The piano got shut down.
Right.
The comedy got shut down. The only thing that saved my bacon
It's the art.
was the artwork.
No
And-
matter
but then
how vile the virus is, the art is still important.
And then I did a little bit of Ubering before the virus.
Yo, driven Uber? Wow.
I did it because I wanted comedy material. And
Plenty of
believe you me,
passengers were comical, I bet.
the stuff that I witnessed as an Uber driver cracks the audience up. And
Wow.
I also, by the way, in the morning time, because I wanted to lose a little weight,
Okay.
I'm a deli. I do work in the deli. I'm not going to mention the market because I do comedy and I don't want. But it's a big chain, and I cut deli meat. And the comedy material there, I call it excessive compulsive deli disorder.
Cool.
The people who come to a deli, I'm thinking that we should have a test. If you're going to run for political office or president, we have to see how you order at the deli counter. And if you're climbing above the counter to see how thick your meat is, or want it shaved or separated by a tear sheet, each individual's like, no, you don't get the nuclear code. Just shut off.
Okay. What if
It's
you're a
like,
vegan and you just want vegetarian? Like,
well, you don't come to the deli.
well, maybe it's time to open a vegan deli. I'm just thinking, probably be a good idea.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure
my
it is.
life is a huge journey, and I
Okay.
even do animal twist balloons too.
Oh, do you? Oh, great. Okay.
So Buddy Cianci, who I was very good friends, I used to fill in with him, a guest on an
what a
in-studio
character. I
guest.
used to listen to his radio show, too.
Used to call me the Tooth Fairy every time I called the radio show because I was in the dental business. Sherm Strickhauser gave me that name. And I says, oh my God, I'm a Tooth Fairy now. God, why did I get that name? They found out I was in the dental business. I said, I'm not leaving money under people's pillows. And so Buddy would call me up, hey, Tooth Fairy.
We
what
call
do
you up. That's great. Oh, okay.
I
Well,
would-
you talked. You were one of his
But
regulars.
Buddy and I were on a
College.
one-on-one basis outside
Okay.
the studio because as a neighborhood president of the Providence College Neighborhood Association,
Right.
I was that for many years. I had to work with him. And so I was in his office a lot of times. And we
Cool.
talked.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed all of that.
Did you ever get any coverage on any of the TV stations down there, or any
Oh,
of the
yeah,
radio
absolutely.
stations, like PRO? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously because your wife was cutting the checks for. Was
Not
it your
my wife,
your
my
mother?
mother,
Your
my mother.
Well, speaking of that, what about what kind of a deal you got now? You married? You got kids?
Oh, absolutely. Been
Okay,
married
cool.
40 years, April 11th.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And my wife is an Air Force brat. Her dad
You
was
were
in the
married.
Air
Oh, April 11th, 1981. You get married. It was a Saturday. I remember.
April
it well.
11th, that's right. 1981.
I went to
It was
Scotland that
It
night.
was Palm Saturday.
Yeah, there was. I never heard of that.
It was, they give palms on the Saturday and the
They
Sunday
give free
mass.
palm reads too.
Yeah, well, yeah. The only thing they got out of my palm was the money for the wedding, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, figured the bride's father's supposed to pay for it, but I
Yeah.
guess it wasn't the case.
Well, yeah, it was.
Oh, good,
It was.
okay.
They took good care of us. And guess where I had my wedding? Where I said I never wanted to have my wedding there. The Venus de Milo.
Okay.
But we had 275 guests at our wedding.
That's pretty
So
good.
it
Yeah.
was the Venus de Milo.
Wow.
And it was a great time. And I got a son. He's 34 years old. He's a mechanic for Harley Davidson. He's
Cool.
very talented. He worked for Disney as well.
Doing what?
He was working for Lights Motor Action.
Okay.
And as a cast member, and he did that. And then he came home and he decided, no more computer. I want to be a mechanic because he was at that Lights Motor Action. My daughter worked for Disney.
Cool. Doing what?
She
She
was a
artist as
baker.
well?
She graduated Johnson Wales as a baker. And
Okay.
she's so talented, and now she works for Whole Foods.
Oh, Whole Foods, great chain.
Wonderful job she does, and
Is
she's
she a cook?
She bakes. Yeah.
She bakes. So is a baker.
Yeah,
See.
so it was very good. So and my wife, when I met her, she worked for Lorenzo's and a restaurant out in.
I've been there. It's in Rentham.
Yes, right.
They bought one
And-
of my books. I was a writer before I was the greatest TV talk show host on earth, and I went around selling my book, and one of the places that bought it was Lorenzo's on Route 1.
And then she went on into working for Aetna, and
Cool.
then we got married, and she came into the dental lab, and she did my
Oh, no kidding.
model
Is she a
prep.
hygienist too? I mean, did she
No,
work
no,
with-
no. She did model prep, and she did the book work. So
Cool.
we worked great as a team. Working together was wonderful. It was not a negative working with my wife.
That's awesome. If you can get along with your significant other and work with her, then you get the perfect
It's
setup.
wonderful. I'm so fortunate
Yeah.
to have her. Even now, we do everything together.
That's great. Okay. So guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the
Wow,
show.
this
We
went
made
fast.
made it go by fast. So what I want you to do, I probably could have told you this before, but speaking of your wife and your children and anyone that you're friendly with, it's too late for Buddy Cianci, obviously, but look into the camera and give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because a lot of them are, and then we'll wrap it up as we begin it with
All right.
with my song.
All right.
There you go.
Everybody, it's a shout out to you folks, all my good friends out there that you're near and dear to my heart. I love you all. We've been through a big journey together. Love my wife, my children, my friend, even John Parada, everybody.
Hey, Johnny.
You know, I mean, we've been through a lot in life. The journey's been great, and I can't thank enough. If I didn't have my friends and family, I wouldn't have a foundation. I would not have a foundation to build a strong structure on, and I can't thank you guys enough for all being a part of my life. And you too, Michael Napolitano, Mark the Historian, all good buddies of mine.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. There you go. You condensed it just right. So, you know, you didn't, I mean, obviously hundreds of people know who you are, that you meant them, but you couldn't say hundreds of names in
I couldn't.
5
I
minutes.
meant it for everybody.
No, you're good like that. You're good at condensing stuff. All right, now the other thing I'm going to ask you to do, if you had a good time with me, is to recommend my show to other people that you know that are interesting, and we'll get them on as guests. You got my digits now. Have them text me. I get more and more of my guests through word of mouth than I ever had before.
Sure.
I've always gotten them through Facebook, but now now I'm getting them through word of mouth as well, more and more than ever. And the show's really taken off, and that's it. So going forward, any projects on the horizon that you want to make quick reference to?
Actually,
Or anything at all that you want to mention? before we wrap up?
I'm continuing to do my artwork. I got doing that, enjoying what I'm doing. The comedy shows are coming back, and it's like I said, they're starting to be booked in, and all the ones we've booked up so far are all sold out. Everyone. We're doing one on Memorial Day at the pub on Park in Cranston where I do the open mic.
Okay.
And that sucker is already sold out. It just people want to get out and they want to laugh and have a good time.
Well, you're taking advantage of the situation, and you, as well you should be.
Yeah.
And believe me, they're all going to be as grateful as ever for you doing this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great job, Stephen DeNuccio. And on that note, are you ready to wrap the show up the way we began it?
Sure.
Okay, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.